All right, here we are again working with some ArrayLists in Java Draw. Same thing as last time. I'm going to start out by just demonstrating kind of what the final product should look like. And then if you feel like you kind of know what to do, we can just stop it right there and you can move on and try and code it. And then I'll kind of give more descriptors and more kind of hints as we go. But here's what we're starting with. So we're starting with what I call falling rain. And basically what you can see is just whenever I click on the screen, we're going to create what I'm kind of envisioning to be rain kind of falling down. So again, if you're good to go with that, you know how to make this work, then pause the video, go off, get that done, but stick around if you're not quite sure how to get started with this. All right, so if you're here with me, then we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the kind of steps going on in here. I feel like if you did the last one, in the last video, we talked about, clicking on the screen, making circles appear, having them get stored in an array list, and we're kind of just going to build off that. The first thing I'm going to add in here is what we call the animation loop in Java Draw. And so the animation loop is happening right down. I'm just adding a little tag in here. So if you want to pause the video later, hopefully it's clear enough, we can zoomed in enough that we can see it. This is the animation loop. So it's a really simple line of code. You can just copy and paste this. It's in the Java Draw documentation. You can also just type it directly from here. And basically what's going to happen when our program runs, it's going to open up the window, it's going to run the start method, and it's going to look through here and see what to do inside the start method. When it gets into here, it's going to be kind of stuck. We're freezing in time in a loop that's going to be constantly running because this thing is always true until we maybe break it later. And basically what this is doing is just constantly updating the screen. Well, the first step is it's going to update the contents of the screen. And the second thing it's going to do is sleep for a small amount of time. This is going to help not overwhelm the system, not be constantly running this loop. We're taking just a short fraction of a break. If we do the math on that one, it's taking a break about 30 times a second, which kind of equates to the number of frames that we're going to see on the screen. So this is like a 30 FPS video game. All right, so now let's turn to our actual assignment for this one. I'm going to ask you to do 3 things in here. There's going to be adding an animation loop, adding rain ovals to it based on mouse clicks. So I think we just went over how to do this one. Hopefully you know how to do this based on what we've done previously. And then the third part is completing the rainfall method, so that all the stored rain is going to fall towards the bottom of the screen. Basically for this, so I have this method down here for you that you need to complete. That's going to, again, like we talked about last time, and if you figured out from the first one, how do we access an array list and tell all the things inside there to do the same thing? Hopefully, so we're using that advanced for loop, the for each loop, for oval, O in circles or in rain, have it do something. So we're going to apply that same idea from last time in here, but instead we're making the rain move rather than change colors. Let's see. Now the other thing that we need to do in here, and I will just code this for you a little bit. Let me pause for a second. Have to pause, otherwise someone's gonna start complaining if the videos are so long. I'll try and make it short. So first thing I have to do is I have to add in this animation loop. And then also, so this thing is constantly being called. So what I can do in here too is I can call the method rainfall. And the goal of rainfall is only to move every single drop down just a little bit. But the thing is, what's going to make it constantly fall, like what I had, is that we're going to be constantly running this loop right here. So we're constantly calling rainfall. So even if it's only moving a little bit at a time, because it's being called so frequently, again, this method is being called, this function is being called 30 times a second, because it's being called so frequently, the rain will appear to actually move down the screen. Okay, so I hope that I haven't given too much away, but hopefully with that you can get started on doing this. Let me know, and of course I'm here. Give me some shout outs if you need some help.